Hi YouTube friends, welcome back to Mom's Greek Kitchen, the channel where I teach you my mom's Greek recipes in her honor. Today we're making Keftethes Saltsa. Keftethes Saltsa. That's meatballs in tomato sauce, which we use over pasta or dip bread into or have as a side. It's a great recipe. It uses my Keftethes recipe, so please look at the video for that. And today I'm going to show you how to put them in the sauce, and we'll go from there. So let's get cooking. Alright, we're ready to get started. I'm going to turn on my pan here. We're going to start with a similar method to the keema salsa that we made on an earlier episode. We're going to start with a hot pan and our onions. And just a little bit of water to sweat off the onions. Just enough to basically cover the bottom of the pan. If you add too much, you have to wait too long for it to evaporate. So, just a little bit more than that. I really don't know why Mom used to make this step. As I said before, I think it's to keep the onions from scorching when you do the sautéing step with the olive oil. I've never actually tried to do it without doing this. One of these days I'll experiment, but so far I don't like to mess with perfection. Alright, now we're dry, all the water's evaporated. We are now going to add our olive oil, and you want a goodly amount. I'm going to say about a third of a cup. And we saute the onions until they start to color up nicely. Keep stirring, you don't want them to stick. Alright, now that our onions are nicely browned, we're going to add our garlic. And saute that for just a few seconds. It smells so good. We're now going to season with a little bit of salt and some pepper. And we're going to add our aromatics. And our aromatics, besides the onion and the garlic, is a stick of cinnamon, a couple of bay leaves, 2 or 3 depending on the size of the bay leaf, and 3 to 4 whole cloves. And we're just going to saute for a few seconds until you can start to smell them. Now, you don't want to overdo the cinnamon or the cloves. It's a very subtle flavor in your finished sauce. And if you overdo it, it comes across very harsh, I guess is the word I want. Alright, now we're going to add a full can of tomato paste. I've got a 6-ounce can, the small size. And we're going to saute that for a minute or so to remove the raw flavor, as they say, of the tomato. Now we're going to add some water. Just a little bit at the beginning so you can deglaze your pan. Get all the brown bits off of the bottom. The acid in the tomato with the water will help deglaze the bottom. Same thing that you do with the wine in French cuisine. You scrape what they call the fond off the bottom of your pans, and that's where a lot of your flavor comes from. Alright, we're just getting a little bit more so it doesn't stick on us. And now we're going to add our meatballs. I prefer doing this recipe with meatballs that have been cooked the day before. If you do them with meatballs that you cook the same day, or within a couple hours, the meatballs are very tender and they have more of a chance of breaking up in your sauce. So I like them a day old, preferably. And these are the meatballs that we made yesterday. These are the chicken ones because I'm making this for a potluck where I have people who don't eat red meat. But normally we would make this with usually beef or a combination of beef and other, like lamb or deer or moose or what have you. But these are the chicken ones, so I'm just going to add these to our sauce. Stir them in. And now we're going to add enough water to basically just come up to the same level as the meatballs are. Make sure you stir it up well on the bottom so everything is distributed well and you don't have any of the thicker stuff on the bottom because it will scorch on you if you don't watch it. I'm going to add just a little bit more water. And now we're going to bring this to the boil. We're going to reduce the heat and we're going to let them simmer for at least half an hour. You will see that the meatballs will expand a little bit and the sauce will thicken up nicely. We want a nice pouring consistency for going over pasta, so judge the amount of water to your finished product. You want this a little runnier, of course, in the hamburger sauce that we made earlier, the Keftethes Saltsa, but not too runny. And I am going to leave you now, and we'll be back to show you the finished product. See you soon. Alright, welcome back. So here's our final product. Our meatballs cooked for about half an hour, 45 minutes or so. I picked out all the hard herbs, the bay leaf, the cinnamon, and the cloves. Otherwise somebody could choke on it or get a burst of strong clove flavor, which isn't always the nicest thing. So that's the hardest part about the whole recipe, is picking out all your herbs and spices. I've got it over some pasta. I mixed some of the sauce in with the pasta first, gave it a toss, and then some meatballs and a little bit of extra sauce on top. I would normally top this with some grated cheese, mezzita being traditional, or Parmesan or Romano, which is my favorite. They're quite tender and a little hot in a moment. Very good. It's a great meatball recipe, great over pasta, over rice, or even just in a bowl, and then lots of nice homemade bread to dip in. It's a great addition to your repertoire. Keftethes Saltsa. I hope you try it, and please come back to see a new video. I hope you like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.